I recently had a conversation with somebody else about being rich and famous and narcissism. And my current stance is I feel as if someone can become rich and famous or do things that might create richness and fame, but they can still do it in a way that is for others, good for the world, and doesn't make them completely selfish, and they can do it without narcissistic traits. The other person's stance was the opposite, or I'm not exactly sure what their stance is, but basically they disagree with that. So let's talk about it. So uh, this person is also a singer-songwriter. I'm not going to say who they are. I mean, I don't even know who they are exactly. Basically, we planned on doing a collaboration, and then through email, it turned into this conversation about how they are going about this music thing, and they're also vegan and trying to help create a vegan world, and they talked about how they're doing it without revealing their actual identity and masked, and they're also working on a bunch of other projects without their name tied to it, just to help the cause. And they implored that I do the same thing. I keep my identity away and just do good things for the world, and do it through my passion. Um, and there's a lot of other things said inside this conversation. And also, what's a little strange about it is the person asked me to read these studies of narcissism and being rich and famous and write essays, like not just one essay, but write multiple essays about it, so they can understand my stance on it, and basically see if we're a good fit to work together. Which seems like, especially at first, it seemed like a little bit much to me, but at this point, I'm actually interested in the topic, and I skimmed through one of the studies, a study that he said I have to source 8 times. This person's I want to say character, but I don't mean that in a negative way, because I do respect the way that they're going about things, the points that they're making, the fact that they're expecting a lot from me and saying, "Hey, we can collaborate and like work together and do these amazing things." But I want you to think about this and look at this, and I'm actually glad that they sent those studies to me, because it's good information. But just the one study that I read, basically what it was saying, this one specific study, is that a majority of the people that are rich and famous or are uh, narcissists or have narcissistic traits. And I might be brutally just not explaining the study well enough, but that was one thing that it said. Not necessarily that trying to become rich and famous is narcissistic, but that a lot of narcissists are found in the category of rich and fame. Yes. So, with that being said, I would like to say I still strongly believe it is possible for someone to work hard towards having a lot of money and having fame, uh, and not be a narcissist, and not do it in a narcissistic way. And once they get there, they can use the money that they have and the influence that they have, the fame, the attention, to do really good things. Like, if someone had millions of dollars to invest into a vegan campaign, and they had the eyes and ears on them to actually start like projects and events and get people together to be a part of this campaign, and they worked with other people, and it wasn't about them and leaving their mark, and it wasn't all about them. It was actually about bettering the world. and they simply just had the resources, the money, and the attention, then I think that can be a really good thing. And that's where my mindset has been since before I was vegan. Whenever I first like really became passionate about music around the age of 20, 18 or 20, somewhere around there. And I just, my thought about it was, I'm really passionate about this music, and there's a chance that if I work really hard and for years and years, I can have a fan base and have a lot of money, and I can put that towards world peace. I was incredibly optimistic then, and like just shot for the stars. Like I was imagining like giant Woodstock festivals all across the world, and everybody's turning into hippies, and it's all because me and some other musicians that got famous and have a heart and just got a bunch of people together. And obviously that wouldn't create world peace. And years later, I found a specific problem in the world, or um, that can be solved. I believe can be solved, or a specific passion: veganism. Uh, and yeah, sorry, brain just froze. So currently, I'm. Whenever I think about being rich and famous, there is that, for me, to be honest, I have a selfish desire within myself outside of bettering the world and making a vegan world. Like, I do have a desire to just create music and have this personality, this character, Z-Man, be known by a bunch of people and like just loved, and actually create good music, and to have, and whenever it comes to being rich, I really just want enough money to survive, but I do have a deep desire to have money to invest into projects and things that can help better the world. And also, I do smoke weed and vape and certain things. So it's, I wouldn't spend thousands or millions of dollars on those things. And obviously, I wouldn't go buy a yacht in an island. I would take all that money and reinvest it into my business as a superhero, and try to do the most impactful things that I can with my passion. And yeah, but there is a part of me that would spend money on things that I don't need. It would be small scale. And there is a part of me that's shallow and would love the idea of millions of people knowing me and, you know, loving that outer expression that I put out into the world, that it's not the real me necessarily. My art, the character that I created, uh, and yeah, so I do have like a desire there, but it's not my main motivator or anywhere near my priorities of how I do things, what gets me to do things. And uh, at the end of these goals, there is no actual end. But once I start hitting bigger milestones, it's not. Yeah, I know it's silly. It doesn't really help anything. And I'm glad I've had this conversation with these people, and I've known it's been inside me. And even in smaller social situations, whenever I'm meeting people, it's like it's almost just like that desire to just want to be liked and loved, and it's it's there in me. And um, but I do know that I've practiced mindfulness, or whatever you want to call it. I've tried, or I put a lot of energy and effort into bettering myself and just evaluating myself. Um, and being a narcissist just leaves a really bad flavor inside my mouth. Like, the things that I regret inside my life is whenever I become angry and apathetic, even to people that might deserve it, or like heartless people that were just very rude or did very cruel things. Afterwards, after I get out of that state of mind, just that selfishness and the way I was, it makes me sick to my stomach. Like, just being that way makes me sick to my stomach. And I'd also, there is a part of me that just cares what other people think at times. Sometimes I'm able to completely let go of that and do some really weird stuff or just be myself. But it just bothers me to be thought of as a narcissist. I don't want anybody to think of me as a narcissist. I don't want to be a narcissist. There have been times I've had narcissistic traits, or I've acted selfishly or apathetically to others, and it's usually inside my mind justified by some cruelty, but even that I challenge, and I try really hard. Not really try hard, but it's because I don't really have to try to not be a narcissist, but it's something that I'm constantly evaluating within myself. Am I only thinking about myself? Is this only for me? And am I thinking about myself too much? Like even these videos in general, it's like I'm talking about myself constantly over and over again. But I believe there's a lot of value in these videos, and it's not done in a way to where I'm just uplifting myself and trying to look better than everybody else. And a lot of the times I'm being vulnerable. But basically what I'm trying to say is I don't want to be a narcissist. And I'm glad this guy made these points, and he's challenging me to read all these studies and write essays. And we're probably going to end up disagreeing. And I'm probably still going to keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully in like another 10, 20 years, reach some big milestones, become rich and famous, and actually be one of the people who are rich and famous who are have empathy. And I don't like just calling myself a good person, because I don't like being black and white or whatever. In the future, I will reach these milestones, and it will be good, not just for me, but for others. And I believe that strongly, but I'm going to read these studies, write these essays, hear what this guy has to say, and I'm excited about it. What do you guys think? Do you want to be rich and famous? Do you think I'm a narcissist? Are you a narcissist? Leave your comments down below. Thank you for watching. For the animals! Woo!